Welcome back. Tackle the obstacles, both and. In order to access breakthrough, one must be open to abundance. That's why we're here, right? A lifestyle of abundance requires a transition from an either-or mentality to a both-and mentality. Let's address a few things right off the bat. An abundance mindset does not make you greedy. Selfishness is a symptom of greed. Oppressing others for the sake of our own promotion is greed. Striving for and accessing abundance does not make you greedy, and it doesn't make you a bad person. What matters is how you go about obtaining your wealth and freedom, and how you use it once it's unlocked. Our existence alone is an incredible miracle. The complexity of creation blows my mind. For us to be here, living, breathing organisms, for us to be here, living, breathing organisms on this beautiful planet, just getting by when we have massive opportunity for multiplication all around us is actually a travesty to our potential and an insult to our Creator. Let us shift our mindset if thoughts of abundance cause us discomfort. Greed isn't an issue pertaining to wealth. Greed is an issue of character. It's a reflection of the heart and mind. We've all encountered rich, greedy people, but we've also met poor people who are equally greedy. It just so happens that rich greed is more apparent than broke greed because it's displayed on a larger scale. Let us shift our mindset if thoughts of abundance cause us discomfort. Greed isn't an issue pertaining to wealth. Greed is an issue of character. It's a reflection of the heart and mind. We've all encountered rich, greedy people, but we've also met poor people who are equally greedy. It just so happens that rich greed is more apparent than broke greed because it's displayed on a larger scale. With complete gratitude for the current abundance in our lives, we can safely evaluate our potential for growth, abundance, and expansion. The principles of breaking through to an abundant lifestyle are not solely reserved for material possessions. These principles apply to mental peace, time freedom, improved quality of interpersonal relationships, fulfillment through purpose, and more. And our Creator desires your existence to encompass it all. The obstacle course. We often hear life referred to as a race, but that would suggest we simply put one foot in front of the other, zone out, and try not to lose our breath. I think we can all agree. I bet every runner is like, no, that's not how that goes at all. But that's probably how I run. I think we can all agree life is a bit more complex than that, which is why I see it more like completing an obstacle course whilst juggling and holding a stack of dishes on our head. Ha ha ha. Really though, life brings different challenges in different seasons. We cannot access the more advanced levels until we have learned the lessons from the first. Imagine the first challenge is climbing, and then by the way, even when you have passed one, then it's like next thing you know you're juggling a totally different one, barely even having time to like show or prove that you passed that one. Imagine the first challenge is climbing the 20-foot vertical rope. So by the way, I liken this to like the Ninja Warrior thing, you know, that race. Imagine the first challenge is climbing the 20-foot vertical rope. First, we must learn the technique, build our strength, get some calluses going on our palms. We find that our arm strength alone isn't enough. We learn how to wrap the rope around a foot, creating a knot to press off from. As we practice, we fall off a few times, and after a lot of trial and error, watching those around us, and more practice, we finally make it to the top. Maybe in life, this round was building the experience and skills necessary to resist peer pressure. We fail a few times, following the troublemakers, and then eventually it clicks that nothing good comes from spending our time with them. So we choose to be alone for a while. Being alone won't kill us. We work, well, maybe forever, but like being alone for a period of time in order to make better choices will not kill us. We work on ourselves, set some goals, move toward them. Next thing we know, we have a new group of friends. We find new interests, new hobbies, and lessons to learn. Now we're on to the next challenge in the course. This one is the army crawl, using our forearms to move forward while laying flat on our bellies. We attempt to go the distance without touching the ropes that are suspended just above our heads. Moving too fast, we raise our hips, hitting the ropes above. Going back to the starting line, we practice keeping our body straight and flat while still managing to advance. This challenge is using our muscles in a completely different way than the first. We start over as many times as it takes until we've developed the technique and speed that works for us. Eventually, we make it to the other side. Woo! Maybe this round in the life obstacle course represents a lesson in dating. We will continue to attract the same type of people that we resonated with before until we grow to learn that certain characteristics, mindsets, and attributes do or don't work for us. When we don't learn from the last experience, we may end up stuck repeating the same scenario until we finally make a change. And by the way, totally separate side note, I want to know what I want to start conversations. So please join in and let me know what you think about this, because I'm really learning on this still. It's so in the religious world, I think they call it familiar spirit, but I'm what is it when you can cognitively know that you do or don't want something, and yet you still attract or you still end up in the same type of scenario with the same type of person, even if you knew that you don't want that and you said you don't want it, and you both know that you don't want it, and then next thing you know, though, it's still the same. What is that? I've seen it not only in my life, but I've seen it in other people's lives where they marry one person and they think they're marrying a different person, a totally different type of person, and then they get the same type of characteristics that they were trying to not have in the first person. I don't know the answer perfectly, but I think the closest answer that I would guess, my guess would be because if you're the same person, you're resonating out to be the same, to find the same person. Another thing that I think is possible is that maybe it's not that you're the same person, but maybe when life storms hit, it knocks you off your square, and then you bounce back down into the version of yourself that you used to be the longest. And maybe that's the case for both parties. I don't know if that makes sense, and I also don't know what the real answer is. And my life will determine and tell you later if I figured it out or not. Lord, please help me figure it out, because I don't want to keep doing the same life with the same kind of people. I'm sick of that crap. And I know that I must become the version of myself that is now the version of myself that is with different people. So I know it's not just about exiling everybody out of your life, but there is a part of that where if you and me together, our frequency doesn't create the in tune sound that is profitable, then that's just what it is. And it's either because we're both not changing, or one of us is not choosing to bring the energy level. Maybe it's just that we have too much background where it's too toxic and we just can't get it, I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but this is what I've learned so far. I army crawled my entire 20s with countless opportunities to learn. When I look back, I see a series of very similar relationship patterns, just with different faces attached. If only I could have realized each new person was an opportunity to do things differently than I had done it before. I tricked myself into believing that a new person meant a new relationship. Turns out, if I haven't changed, my relationships probably won't either. My lack of self-discipline and maturity led me to just keep on doing the same short-sighted actions, leading to the same outcome. People may have been different, but my mindset was the same, and as were the results. Once we learn the lesson being presented to us, we make it through that part of the obstacle course, and we're on to the next dimension. This time we have to jump from one moving apparatus to the next, all while trying to avoid being pushed off by the giant flying arm. Reminds me of all those funny videos. For me, this lesson was learning how to cope when people disliked me for no apparent reason, or the reason being simply that I am successful, happy, and shining my light, sass included. I hated this, and it made me want to either become less of myself, move to another state, or just cry. I probably did all of those things. As I have begun to see things through the eyes of the Creator, I realize that there will always be people who love me, people who don't, and people who just don't understand me. And there's nothing I can do about it. We will never please everyone. All we can do is be the most kind, authentic, humble, heart-centered version of ourselves. The ones who are meant to align will. The ones who aren't will align with someone else. There are so many people in the world. We are all different. May we be okay with who we are and not despise others for who they are. Be yourself and let the worries fall away.